Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun because me and Antoine have just connected earlier, and it's a lot of fun to have you on today to be with the AI Journal audience on LinkedIn. And today, me and Antoine are going to be talking all around who AeroFarms are, what they're doing, and then touching on also the amazing wins that they had at Global Excellence Awards, because it was the only company, to people that are watching, that actually went on to win 3 awards, which is quite astonishing, across 3 separate categories, which all had 3 separate different judges. So they all had a different cohort of judges, and that's quite something to see, that all these different people are seeing AeroFarms as the leader in these areas. So it's going to be a real fun chat for you today, wherever you're tuning in from around the world. And to kick us off, Antoine, this is the first time me and you have met. Would you mind giving a bit of a background to who you are, sir, and what's your kind of story been in the build up to what you're doing today, please?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Antoine Deventry. I'm the Vice President of IT here at AeroFarms. I'm relatively new, right? I joined in June of this past year, and I come from a completely different industry. But I had the past of kind of scaling IT at another company, from an 80-person firm to 3,000. That's very data centric. But what drew me to AeroFarms is the mission, right? The company is on such a great path forward for the overall good, and it was just too good to pass up. I moved the family. I was from Houston, and I moved up to New Jersey, and here I am.
Yeah, and you were saying you love it because of the better weather, right?
Yeah, exactly. I typically have a snowman in the background, but they wouldn't let me do that for this.
Well, there's always next year, so who knows?
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, we can keep the audience on their toes. And it would be good to know. So you just mentioned it, you were touching on it there, what your role is and how you're doing some awesome things. And I mean, just looking through what AeroFarms did, and when we've been in touch before, it's really awesome to see what you're doing. So maybe give people, now who know who you are, Antoine, maybe give the audience a little bit more on what AeroFarms is, what the brand is, and what the kind of cool aspects, initiatives you and the team are getting up to through 2021 and before, and also going forward into 2022, please.
Yeah, for sure. So AeroFarms is an indoor vertical farming company, right? So if you look at the picture behind us, or behind me here, that's what we grow our product on these shelves indoor, and we're fully controlled. I've heard the story, a few times now, and our CEO and one of our co-founder, right, started the company based on a worry of water, right? So we are on a path where water demand is going to increase by 55% by 2050. And 70% of that water usage is in the agricultural industry, right? It's an unsustainable platform, and what we're trying to do is help solve that problem. Now, along with that comes all of these other things, right? No pesticides, fully controlled environment, being able to grow at a much higher density of product for the amount of acreage out there, right? There's just a lot of benefits, and that's what drew me here, right? Yeah. Our mission is to grow better plants, the best plants possible for humanity. So that's what we're trying to solve. But what's interesting about that is, in order to build the best plants, you have to have the right data, and you have to use it. And then that's what my role is. And again, I joined in June. Like, the company's been doing this for a while, and I'm the shepherd, the next kind of shepherd to help move this along. But that's what we do. We ingest, and we look at data, and we make sure that it is optimized for our environment and for our growth.
I love it. And that's a really good point you touched on, not to deviate from the conversation we're supposed to be having, but on a separate note, you mentioned all the water usage, right? And how crazy it can get. And I'm a big fan. One of my TV series that I love is Explained. That's on Netflix. And one of the episodes is all around food and how to agriculture, and how to get it going, and how much meat can take up of consumption, how much land we'd need. And vertical farming just seems like the obvious answer, right? The one that can really help us with sustainability, but also understand better patterns, understand how to do it better, how to take that data as you're talking about, and learn those models and learn that understanding to give us. I love it. I love the idea of how AeroFarms is coming about, and what the mission is behind it as well. So it's really cool. And looking at the awards, Antoine, so it was a real good, and it was a real pleasure to have you enter. And thank you again to you and the team, Emily and Anna, and all the other people behind the scenes that made it happen, because it was really awesome to see you won across Big Data, Medium-Sized Company of the Year, and Best Use of VR. And I was quite surprised at Best Use of VR, not to say it shouldn't be deserved, but I was thinking, wow, like, you actually are in these kind of fields as well, using all these emerging technologies, which is really, really cool. And to you and to the team, why is it really important that you're recognized for these on a global scale? Because we have people enter and judges be marking these entries all the way from Australia to South America to all the countries in Europe to countries in Africa. What did it mean to you and AeroFarms to be recognized, and why it was so important?
Yeah. No, first of all, I think we're really humbled by it, right? So thank you for the recognition. But I think the more important kind of statement is, it speaks more to the industry and to the company itself, right? So agri-tech is not always the most exciting. It's not what you think of. But when you dig down a little bit deeper, we are doing, as an industry and as a company, groundbreaking, leading edge tech, right? To make sure that we can deliver this product and be the most efficient and be the most effective. So that's what really these awards mean. And in addition to that, the company culture in and of itself, right? Yeah. The desire of the business and the thirst for the data itself forces us to look at how we can gather it better, how we can analyze it better, and different ways of capturing that data. You mentioned the VR thing. It's not something that I knew coming in, right? And then we recently announced that after. But we're doing a lot of really cool things about with drones to try and capture images to help identify problems as quickly as possible and to address those. The earlier you can try and solve an issue in a growing plant, the better we have at the end for yield and for production. So it's capturing things at the earliest point in time and helping us, put the right eyes on the right portion of the farm at any given point.
I love it. That's a great answer, because it's really, you can see just from how you're coming across, Antoine, that it's passion for the people, the end users, the people that you're really adding the value to, which is awesome to see that all of this has really got such a big impact, which I think is, and I don't want to speak on behalf of the judges who reviewed the entries, but really saw that kind of impact and really looked at it from how they were being reviewed from results-driven aspects. So it's brilliant to see that. And then going through, then we touched on it slightly earlier, Antoine. So with what AeroFarms are doing going into 2022, as you said, you're on this growth spurt. You've got lots of new amazing technologies being used. Is there an avenue that you're particularly going down much more heavily this year compared to others? So maybe looking back at the categories you entered, the big data, the VR section, what does that look like for the next 12 to 18 months?
We're progressing both, right? Just like the motto of the company, we're always trying to do better.
Yeah.
So in the data point, we're building a new facility in Danville, Virginia, right? And we're going to get a huge corpus of data there, more mining, more information there, more data points for our R&D team, for our operations team, to make sure that whatever models for plant optimizations we have are either validated or improved upon. VR, obviously, again, it's the scaling aspect, right? So now let's figure out how we can do multiple drone orchestration, fly through multiple facilities at the same time, capture enough images that make sense for our R&D while not overdoing it. Because there's a cost aspect there that is different so than the capturing of data from your SCADA systems and things like that.
Oh, I love it. And then I guess to really wrap this up and look at it from perspective, where can people find out more about you, Antoine? And where can they find out more around what AeroFarms are doing going into next year? And if they want to reach out to you to use your services or to understand what you guys are doing, because it was awesome to see. And I hadn't come across a company before that was doing this kind of work. It was one of these things that you see in sci-fi movies. And then obviously discovering it, I was like, wow, these aspects and these things exist, like these vertical farms exist, and there's so much value. So where can people find out more about what the awesome work you're doing, Antoine?
Yeah, so I think the first place is our website, aerofarms.com, right? So we've got all of our news there, a little bit of description about the company and why we exist. But we're on all the social medias as well. We're on LinkedIn, Instagram. I actually spend quite a bit of time kind of looking at the stories and seeing what other people are doing with our products. It's fun to see, how they're using our microgreens to cook and things like that. I'm on LinkedIn as well. And then, look at both, because we're hiring in so many different places. We're looking for people in Danville, Virginia, here in Newark, in Abu Dhabi, in our R&D facility. So a lot of opportunities if people are interested in joining the team.
Yeah, that's awesome. And after this as well, we'll put the links in there to any resources or anything we can put to our audience. So if you are watching this on recording, we'd love to know. But Antoine, you said one thing there. I'd love to know just quickly. You said you love to check the stories and check Instagram and check LinkedIn for the best use cases. Maybe give us one or two of some of the best use cases you've seen. I'd love to know how you've seen companies or people use for this agricultural tech. What are they?
Yeah, so one of them, it's kind of my daughter works at a little sandwich shop, and they have started using our AeroFarms microgreens in their sandwiches, which is, half a mile from my house. So it's amazing to kind of see that. You can find our products in Whole Foods and Stop Shop on the shelves on the East Coast, but it is kind of exciting to go to a restaurant and see that product there for you that's from our company.
Yeah. That's awesome. I love to see it because I always say, I think I was saying on the LinkedIn Live earlier, and whenever I'm speaking or something, I say the best way to explain something is to do it via situations or to give stories. So I think that's brilliant when you can really impact it as close to home as it is for you with your daughter. You can really understand how these businesses such as AeroFarms make a real impactful difference. So it's really awesome to hear that. And again, Antoine, I want to thank you for your time today, sir, and to Emily and Anna and the team for putting forward the entry and putting forward the time to speak to you today. And to anyone watching that's in the crowd, we'd love to send the links, get in touch with Antoine, get in touch with the team, see how AeroFarms can help you. And I'm sure this will be the first of many conversations we hopefully have, Antoine. And I'm looking forward to many more. But really appreciate your time today, sir. And I'm wishing you all the best for 2022. It'll be a fun year for you guys.
Awesome. Thank you, Tom, for having me on. It was exciting and fun, and all the best to you.
Cheers, sir.
Cheers.